similar spawning locations. Those would have been pretty good for drops for vVvNGry. So we'll see whether he gets lucky once again as we make our way into the game, and it will be cross positions.
Yeah, so vVvNGry spawning as the red Terran player on the top right-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, Titan not changing his location, spawning as the yellow Zerg on the bottom left-hand side of the map as this game gets underway. And Zerg versus Terran here on Shakura's Plateau. Cross-spawn does allow for a very, very macro-heavy style of play. Unless there is some cheese, I don't expect any cheese this time around, as there's not Ruff in the game.
Yeah. Ruff showed us quite a few different strategies there. Some, I guess you could call cheese, but I think cheese definitely has a place in StarCraft. I know a lot of players want to see big, long, epic macro games, but in a best of 7 or a best of series clan war like we did see, I think cheese is definitely an option. If you are weak in a particular matchup, I think using cheese to get through that is definitely a strong option, and I was glad to see some varied play from him. We did see a pretty long TVT, and then actually a pretty long TVT we just saw between him and vVvNGry. So we'll see what we have here.
Yeah, I think a lot of people say cheese as though it's a negative thing, and cheese in my mind is just non-standard play, opening up with something that's unique, that isn't, hey, I'm going to be doing this, you're going to be doing this. And cheese definitely does have a place, especially in particular strategies. If you need to cheese your opponent to beat a very strong strategy, I say, hats off to you, go for it. There is nothing wrong with it at all.
Yeah, I think it's fair to challenge another player to defend against the cheese and to scout for the cheese. As we see, he was able to get up a barracks in the base of the Protoss player he played against, and it's a strategy game, and you could do an infinite number of things, and you obviously can't prepare for everything. So it's a game about information, and cheese really tries to deny information and surprise your opponent, coming with something a little bit non-standard, 3 racks instead of 2 racks, and really caught his opponent by surprise a number of times. Did a nice job.
Yeah, so right now we see vVvNGry currently just going into a 1 racks double supply depot, no gas. So we could be seeing a command center coming online in just a moment. The command center should be built at the natural expansion location, and vVvNGry may actually be able to get his expansion up a little bit more quickly. But he does see that his opponent Titan has not gone for an expansion at all, and that is going to perhaps put a little bit of a rain on his parade, as he is now forced to build a bunker as opposed to building up an expansion of his own. He will be behind in tech just a little bit, as he does not have his gas at all.
Yeah, and Titan coming out with a few early lings is going to be able to get map control and take down this engineering bay. Continues to spend and make sure he is producing drones, but he does want to get down that expansion as fast as possible. He's going to do so right now, and he's going to add these lings. I'm not really sure whether they're going to be able to take on this bunker, but vVvNGry placing down a barracks, trying to get a complete wall off here, and we have lings without speed pushing across the field. Speed about 80% of the way done, and the hatchery just started for Titan.
Yeah, so if those lings actually try to wait long enough before trying to do a run by, they could get some damage in here, but vVvNGry does have 2 supply depots that are currently lowered. He could easily raise them up and pretty much make all this ling harassment absolutely useless. The ling gonna walk up the ramp, quickly get shot down by that bunker, and pretty much see everything he needs to see right now. Just 1 Marine just trying to make its way around. Marines trying to make sure that there are no overlords nearby, as I believe this game will end up being a straight-up macro game unless we see some interesting 2-base play.
Yeah, Titan seeing that bunker and immediately reacting, creating just a round of drones with larva, which had just popped, as we see him hitting his injects, nailing them right as the energy comes up. So on top of his macro at this point, and he's at 23 harvesters to the 21 of vVvNGry. But vVvNGry does have his expansion up a little bit faster. He's going to have double orbitals, and the Zerg want to get on a 3rd base, as we do see his 3rd hatchery about to go down. Really like that play from Titan, and vVvNGry not going to be able to stop it with the initial units he has at the moment.
Yeah, so it's going to be 3-base play, expanding well before the 8-minute mark. So responding with an expansion of his own, always a very safe bet during the early portion of the game when you know your opponent cannot have that many units at all. We are going into a factory, and it looks like we are adding an additional tech lab as well. So this may become the standard Marine tank plank play on Shakura's Plateau, and just become a long drawn out battle to see who can really deal the most amount of damage towards each other. Shakura's Plateau, a lot of the battles turn into an east versus west. Not too many ways to get across the center portion of the map. Siege tanks are able to cover fire a lot from within the high ground here, and just these little plateaus in the middle of the map.
Looks like Anger is able to steal an Overlord there from Titan, so he's going to interrupt the rhythm that Titan was in with his macro, and he's going to have to produce a few extra Overlords here. But coming out with more and more drones, and I like the fact that he has produced just a few Zerglings. He's got a midfield, and if Angry does decide to push out, my guess is Titan's going to immediately counter with those Zerglings and get up some more defenses back at home. But just coming out with a ton of drones at the moment, it's 39 to 31, and he's got a few more on the way. He's getting up a Baneling nest as well. So we'll see whether Angry can't really push out here without Stim to challenge these Speedlings. So he's going to have to wait for Stim about a third of the way done, and then we'll see whether he has a timing here in mind.
Yeah, it looks like Angry also going to go into medevac play as well. So this is going to be a lot of Marines, but only off of 3 racks and no reactors. This is a little bit strange, as Angry is not going to really be able to keep up with the 3 hatcheries of Titan. Titan already having his third base up, each of them with a queen to take care of and tend to. And I believe Titan should just be able to, if he power drones for another minute or so, get somewhere in the realm of 70 drones and be able to just carry that economic wave into the mid game with overwhelming forces.
Yeah, Titan now sacrificing another Overlord, so it'll be actually supply blocked a moment. I'm surprised he did not start an Overlord as he did sacrifice one there. He's going to see that the factory is down, the tech lab, so he's going to possibly expect siege tanks, and he also saw the Marine count as well for Angry. So he's coming out with a lot of Lings, and Banelings might be going for some sort of push here. He does not see siege tanks at the front, and he's going to be susceptible, Angry is, to this Baneling bust without siege tech.
Yeah, Zergling's now getting in position. There are 2 medevacs in transit, and that means that they're not going to be part of the fight, and that's actually going to be a downfall here, as the Zerglings are now going to try to come in. The Banelings are now simply coming in as well, and down goes that front door. Zerglings just running around, just running straight into the base, taking down the Marines. The medevacs looking to perhaps do a bit of damage, as the Zerglings are able to run rampant through the base. And so many workers killed already. Zerglings just running in, getting in so much damage, and those 2 medevacs going along the south side of the map may never reach their target.
Titan placing some spine crawlers in his main, so if he's able to get those up, he might be able to defend against the medevac. I'm not sure if he scouted that or if he just felt like, hey, Angry doesn't have enough stuff here. His Marines have to be somewhere. They're probably ready to do a drop, as the spine crawler's about halfway done, and Titan doesn't have many forces back here at home, trying to get up some spine crawlers, pulling all those drones and that queen, so doing a nice job there. And now he's getting some Zerglings, I imagine we'll have Banelings, and yes, here they come, so we've got 12 Banelings on the way. But Titan going to be able to rip apart the base of Angry. It is 24 to 104, and as soon as these Banelings hit their target here at the main of Titan, it's going to be a GG.
Yeah, I believe so. The Marines, if they try to do anything fancy or tricky, yeah, they're going to just jump back inside the medevacs there. I would like to see Angry actually try to deal some damage towards those Banelings, dropping them one at a time to take down 2 Banelings in a bit of a sacrifice. But Angry with his front door completely blown open, and there's the GG.
Yeah, you know, every strategy has its downfalls, and if you go for a fast expand there for Terran, and you try to get up with a lot of racks, and you try to rush to medevacs and get up Marines and go for drops, you're not going to have siege tech. And if a Zerg player scouts that Baneling bust is just so good. Baneling is able to take down buildings very quickly, bunkers, no match, if you don't have that siege tech, and then just streaming in a ton of Lings. And Titan did a nice job there, getting a bit of revenge against his teammate Angry.
Yeah, so it looks like it will be Titan versus who's coming up next. Is it going to be Time?
I am not sure.